Hi guys, my name is Riya and we are here to talk about sunscreen. So most people don't even know the importance of sunscreen and generally limit their use of sunscreen to a beach day or a sunny holiday. But I am here today to change your mind and talk to you guys about the importance and the necessity of using sunscreen every single day without fail. So I really hope by the end of this video, you go and apply sunscreen ASAP. So before we delve deeper into the subject, let's just get some of the basics out of the way. If you've heard of sunscreen, you've definitely heard of SPF, or also known as sun protection factor, which is basically the relative amount of time your sunscreen can actually protect you from the sun. So an SPF 15 is not going to protect you as long as say an SPF 30 or an SPF 50 would. There's a whole math behind it, but we'll probably get into that some other day. What's really important to know is that the amount of sunscreen you use is definitely important, and the SPF factor that you apply is also important. I would say never go below SPF 30 and always apply minimum of 3 fingers on your skin. So 1, 2, 3. That's how much sunscreen you actually need to apply, because that's how much coverage your skin needs to be protected from the harmful UVA and UVB light. And I know that most of us love a good sunny day and just going out and bathing in the sun. The truth is that the sun can be our skin's biggest enemy. It can really cause a lot of damage to the skin, and ranging from things like pigmentation, fine lines, wrinkles, and even serious things like skin cancer. So I know I keep repeating myself and saying that it's really important to use sunscreen, but it truly is really important to use sunscreen. And you must be wondering, what is so wrong with the sun? Why is it going to harm my skin so badly? To put it simply, the sun emits UV light in the form of UVA and UVB. So these both can really cause a lot of damage to the skin. UVA light is usually responsible for aging and skin cancer, and UVB light is usually responsible for the sunburns and the pigmentation and sunspots that you may get. So although you can't actually visibly see these rays, they do cause a lot of damage, and this damage is seen actually more in the long run rather than the short term. And the main key thing about using sunscreen is that you can prevent premature aging from occurring. So I would highly recommend that you start using sunscreen when you're 6 months old. Even like babies, if you start young, then you will definitely not have issues in the long term. For people who start using sunscreen, say at like age 40, they've already lived 40 years of their life being experienced to the harmful rays, and that even though it's better to start sooner rather than later, you've already done a lot of damage, and it's really, really difficult to actually reverse that damage on your skin. So you may actually find it really hard to treat those sunspots and treat those fine lines and wrinkles, because once they're there, they're just there on the skin. You have to go through a lot of you have to spend a lot of time and resources and money to actually get that treated in the long run. So although you can't actually see the harmful UVA and UVB rays that are emitted from the sun, in the long run, you will see damage to your skin. So using sunscreen on a daily basis will prevent the premature aging, and it will prevent the fine lines and wrinkles from forming at a younger age. So I would highly recommend that you start wearing sunscreen when you're 6 months old, because the sooner you start, the better it is for you. The later you start, it's going to be even harder to treat those wrinkles and fine lines and to treat those sunspots, because they've damaged the deeper layers of your skin. The sun rays can actually penetrate into the cells and cause that damage. So it's really, really hard to reverse the damage. So I always think prevention is better than cure. And if you speak to any dermatologist, I guarantee you the first thing they would tell you about maintaining a good skincare routine is to have a good sunscreen in your routine, something that's going to prevent the sunlight from damaging your skin, and something that you are going to be comfortable using. So find a sunscreen that you actually enjoy so that you stick to it. I think that's the key to applying sunscreen. It's not about skin type, skin concerns, skin this, skin that. It's just about your preference. Now that you know of the many reasons as to why the sun can be so damaging and why sunscreen is so integral to maintain a healthy skin, let's take a deep dive and understand what is in your sunscreen that actually helps and prevents the sun from damaging your skin. Sunscreens contain minerals and particles that basically help to absorb and reflect the harmful rays that you see from the sun, and they do this by kind of forming a barrier and breaking down the UVA and UVB light so that it doesn't penetrate deeper into the layers of your skin. There are two main types of sunscreens that you'll find. One is chemical and one is physical. Both have their benefits and both have their cons, so it just kind of depends on you and your preference what you buy and what you use. Since sunscreens deflect and break down the harmful UV rays that come from the sun, they really help to protect the skin and ensure that the sun isn't causing damage to your skin like sunspots, pigmentation, burns. And there are studies that have shown that people who use sunscreen on a daily basis actually have 24% less chance of developing premature aging on their skin. So you won't see fine lines and wrinkles come early. You'll probably see them at a later stage in your life because realistically they can't be prevented completely. They can just be slowed down. And most sunscreens you see now on the market usually contain a whole host of beneficial ingredients and nourishing and hydrating ingredients paired along with it, so you aren't getting that sticky, tacky feeling. I personally am a huge fan of Korean sunscreens because technology that they have used and created over there and applied to their formulations are just out of the world. They are super lightweight and they absorb into the skin so beautifully. Most of them don't leave a white cast, and I know that is the biggest problem when it comes to sunscreens. People find that it leaves this grayish cast on their skin, and I highly recommend, if you haven't checked out a Korean sunscreen, please do, because it completely changed my life. Now that I have hopefully convinced you to use sunscreen every single morning without fail, you must be wondering, do I need to be applying sunscreen when I'm indoors? Do I need to be applying sunscreen when it's cloudy outside, like when the sun isn't even out? And the answer is yes. So like I mentioned earlier, there are two types of UV light that come from the sun, UVA and UVB. So UVA light can actually penetrate through windows and through the clouds, and that is what causes aging and skin cancer. So I highly recommend that even if you're staying indoors, you should and you must use sunscreen, even if it's winter, even if it's a cloudy day, even if you don't see sun. The sun rays are still, the UVA rays are still penetrating and they are still harming your skin. So it's very important to stay protected 365 days of the year. So not 24/7, but just every morning. And what a lot of people don't know is that you should be reapplying your sunscreen at least 2 to 3 times a day, because the effect of the sunscreen kind of washes away every few hours. It doesn't last for as long as we think it lasts. I know it's really hard to reapply sunscreen, especially if you're wearing makeup, but there are a lot of tips and tricks that you can do to reapply sunscreen even over makeup. So I know I've thrown a lot of information and a lot of technical knowledge at you guys, but if there is one key message that you would want to take from this video, is to just simply wear sunscreen. No matter what, no matter rain or shine, day or indoors or outdoors, just wear sunscreen. And trust me, your skin will thank you for it. Bye.